Good morning and welcome back to Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates morning show. You're viewing us live here in Portmore, Scarborough, Tobago, and this is we want to shift the conversation to a very important and topic this morning surrounding the shark attack that happened or occurred over the weekend. We have been hearing a lot about it. We have heard a lot about controversy. There's been a post from the Tobago House of Assembly, and there were those, of course, who were affected. And this morning we want to bring Mr. Michael Frank, head of Frankie Tours here in Tobago, boat operator and tour operator at Boca Reef, this morning to have this discussion surrounding compensation. Good morning and welcome, Mr. Frank.
Good morning, Trinidad, Tobago, and the wider listening public. Good to
How are
be
you
here.
this morning?
Well, I'm very good. No complaints on my side.
I mean, we might know that you are very instrumental in providing a very tangible service as it pertains to the tourism aspect of Tobago. Just share a bit about that and about yourself and how long you've been in this business.
And I've been into this business approximately 45 years. I'm what you consider the old man in the business.
Right, right, right. And how many boats
um,
do you currently have?
well, in total, we have about 5 boats, but
Hmm.
operational, we only have 2.
Okay, all right, all
We have
right.
different types of boat. We don't just have glass bottom boat, but we also have fishing boat and speed boats. So we,
Oh,
we could do a multiple different type of tours. So it's not just going to the Book Reef. We can do trips around the coast. We can do fishing, any type of fishing you like.
hmm.
We can also do like trips to like go view dolphins and rays and turtles and sightseeing.
All right, all right. So you have been in this business for quite some time, and how has this shark attack, if we want to have a better term, would have affected your business, and what was your first thought when you heard that there might be we might have shark infested waters?
Um, well, you have to remember that we are in their space.
Mm-hmm.
They have always been shark here. So it's not a fact that they are interfering with us. We are actually in their space
Mm-hmm.
and we are just trying to see if we can live with them. The issue arises when there is a problem with a specific shark. And that way the problem comes in right now. Um, as we said before, we think the shark is either injured or it has some type of problem. That's the only way you can get shark attacking people. Shark don't go out to attack people. We swim with shark every day of our lives. This is their natural habitat.
All right,
When
and
there's a problem,
go ahead.
when there's a problem, then you find this happening. It's not just here in Trinidad and Tobago, but it happens all around the world. You have to remember that human being is not actually food for shark. They are curious. If a shark bites you, it's just gonna bite you and release because they are just curious. Um, a shark don't directly go out of his way to go hunt human. Otherwise, we would never be able to use the ocean. So when there's a problem, we have to learn to treat with it sensibly because it's not something that's gonna happen not in the next 100 years, I can show you.
All right.
It's just something that's extremely rare.
And I'm sure this is your expert opinion on the matter. Yes?
Yeah, it is.
All
And it is the expert opinion overall. I mean, if you used to Google shark attack, you'll see maybe you get one attack in every, I don't know, 100 million people. It's
right.
extremely rare. It's not something that happens very often.
Right.
I
And
think
and it's
last year, globally, you had about 60 shark attack. Globally.
right.
We have billions of people traversing the ocean.
Right. And yes, certainly this is definitely something very novel and very rare for Tobagonians to experience. But in light of that, it has occurred. You mentioned that we ought to treat with it sensibly. How would that look like for you? If you were the powers that be and the experts, how would you treat with the matter? How would you, and or rather, how would you suggest that the matter should be addressed?
All right. In the beginning, in the initial beginning, it would be a shock. It's a shock for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I am not against the government for shutting down for a short while. But once the shutdown has occurred, we should put things in place, and we are putting things in place.
Mm-hmm.
I was in a stakeholder meeting, and it seems very promising. Everybody's putting things in place for a reopening back, because we cannot let a shark hold the country hostage. Life has to go on. There are many different people's livelihoods depend on the ocean.
And
So
do you
it's not just
agree that, you know, with the measure in closing, I think it's 5 beaches, you know, surrounding this issue? I mean, it's one person was severely injured and so on. But do you agree with that being a part of the measure taken to ensure the safety of others? What is your thoughts?
I actually support it. The reason why I support it is because it shocked the community, it shocked the country. And one of the good ways to deal with things that you don't know too much about is to close and reopen. It's all about safety. You're not looking at, I mean, in the initial stage, it's about the security of the people. Without the people, we have no business. So a shutting down is important because you can reassess and you can make better plan for the future. But once the shutdown is in place, it's time for we to do a phase reopening or a reopening, because you have to start testing the waters. You have to start knowing what. This has been about a week now. There is no sighting of the shark in about 3 days or so. For all you know, the shark could be dead, or it can be already way off to Venezuela or even further, because they are pelagic fishes. They don't. Most of them don't stay in one place. They tend to move around. Although there are some that tend to live in this area, but most of them would be pelagic and move from place to place. So
you
it's about
mentioned
the time has reached now. The time has reached now where we should start reopening. Even if it's not 100%, it should be a phase reopening so that at least we could start testing the waters and know what's going on. Right?
Certainly. So I heard you mention earlier that you were in a stakeholder meeting, and you said that some of the things emanating from that meeting seem very positive for you. I know that you're here on the premise of compensation. Was any such thing discussed at the stakeholder meeting? And if not, what are the things that were promising to you coming out from that meeting?
All right. This was one of many meetings we went to. The one yesterday was not about compensation. The one yesterday was mainly about a phase opening and how we can put things in place in case something like this happens again. But we had a stakeholder meeting before this, which was yesterday, day before yesterday, and that one we talked about compensation and how we can literally some type of assistance to not just reef operators, but all the people who operate in the marine space that is extremely affected by this. Right. So yesterday we were mainly about putting things in place, putting securities in place, putting other things that we can be more vigilant in case something like this do happen again. You see, this time around we were unprepared, but going forward we have to be a lot more prepared.
Yes.
So we've just been putting a lot of different things in place to protect our people and ourselves in case something like this has to reoccur.
All right.
And on the term of compensation, we had that conversation 2 days ago. It's an ongoing conversation, and I know the government put their best foot forward.
Right.
And make sure some type of compensation is being forthcoming to not just the boat operators, but all the people in the space.
All right. My question to you is coming from concerns from the public. People are arguing, but how is compensation even a concern now, given the fact that, you know, there are other externalities that could prevent you from prevent tour operators from operating. What then is the argument for compensation also, like rainfall and so on? Why is it necessary for or feasible for compensation at this time, given that it's something that would be considered force majeure, act of God, something that was unforeseen and so on? And my follow-up question is, what would compensation look like for boat tour operators on that premise? Care to share?
Yeah, sure. Look at it from this point of view. If, God forbid, that tomorrow morning the government comes in and said, you cannot be a reporter anymore because something has happened on the airways and you are sent home, would you not be looking for some type of compensation from your employer? Answers is yes, because you're sent home not by your faults,
Right,
not by your cause.
however,
Continue. Let me continue.
go
Let me
ahead.
continue. We are not hard and fast about
Mhm.
compensation. We would look at the government to do something because we have families to feed as well. We have a whole entourage of people that we have to support. Frankie Towers is not just about Frankie Towers. Frankie Towers is about our people. So there's a lot of people that work here, and most of them are on the breadline. I mean, we can contribute something to them, but at the same time, this is the responsibility of the state, because the state is the one who is shutting down. We have been shut down for COVID for 3 years, flat 3 years. We didn't have any type of compensation. We had some minor compensation in the beginning, but generally none. So we cannot always take the fall because the beaches has to be closed. There has to be a middle ground. There has to be an area where we said, okay, enough is enough, and these people still has to survive. You understand? So I might be financially stable, but what about the other people who is now starting out? What about the people who has just started their business 6 months ago or 4 months ago and has the bank to pay and has all type of mortgages and all type of other things? We have to think outside of the box. This is not personal about me. I am just the face that fights for everybody else. You understand? So this is not about me, but it's about our community.
Understood. And my final question to you is, how would you answer to the concerns that, well, we are saving a lot of lives if we open back the beaches anyway, and it saves everybody a lot of money. It saves you money, it saves the state money. How do you answer to that? These are concerns emanating and questions emanating from the public.
Yes, ma'am. I like you to repeat the question. I didn't really hear you
Right. So
properly.
so so there's a benefit of closing the beaches for both the reef tour operators who may lose significant traction and tours in the long run if they don't close the beach, for a reputation of not being responsible, and also the state benefits for saving a lot of lives who might be affected by the shark if they don't close the beach. How do you answer to those arguments coming from the
All right.
public?
Well, as I said before, I don't have a problem with the state closing the
Mhm.
beaches. I think they did the best thing. We were all shocked and surprised. So closing the beach would be the first thing to do, because you're protecting the people. But once that is done and we have figured out, okay, so this is the scenario, we have to start making solutions and we have to start putting things in place for everything to restart it. Understand? So the state has done what they has to do, and I think they did the right thing. But now we have a point where, okay, we cannot be held hostage. We have to move on. Life has to continue. We are human. We are the top of the chain, so we can't allow a shark to stop us from operating. So it comes into play that because of this happening, so many people are out of a job. So I think it's the right thing for any government to do to support the people that is financially stressed by this. Because I said before, this is not just about me. This is about all the other people who's out there who is struggling for a daily bread. This is going to cause a major problem for them. The longer we stay closed, the longer the problem occurs.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Frankie. I hope you don't mind me calling you Frankie. Guys, this is
Not a
Mr.
problem.
Michael Frank, head and owner of Frankie Tours. Continue doing your good work, and I do hope that something feasible comes to those who are affected by this. And again, I want condolences, not condolences, but empathies from the Tobago Updates family goes out to the family of the person who was affected by this shark attack. Mr. Frankie, again, thank you for coming with us. And I do hope that when I come and see you again, I'll get a little blight to come on your boat.
That's not a problem. It's good to be here as always. You take care. And as I said, all our praise goes out to Mr. Smith and his family. And we're looking forward to a speedy recovery from him. Best of luck to Trinidad and Tobago. I think we should be up and operational in a few days to come. So
Yes. All
let's
right.
look at it from a positive point of view.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay.
And
Bye-bye.
guys, this brings us to the end of Youth Wednesday on the Tobago Updates morning show. I want to thank you for joining us this morning. And we are out of shark-infested waters, I might presume. And I hope you guys have a spirit-filled and a blessed and a safe day. Remember to share the live, share the live, share the live. We go over to Tobago. Good morning, Tobago, with Miss Combi, and have a blessed day.